Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the January 9th meeting of the Stockbridge Assessors. Mike?
Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. So the last time we met was December. It was early. It was our last meeting after the tax rate was set and the bills, fiscal year 23 bills were getting prepared to be mailed, which have already been mailed. And so we are going to basically the last meeting minutes, everything was about the tax rate getting set and the bills being mailed. And just as a reminder, the due date for the bills is January 19th, and it's also the due date for any abatement, real estate and personal property abatement applications. The exemption, elderly exemption, blind exemption, veterans exemptions are due April 1st. Did you want to mention something about the aid for the elderly? Those forms go up? No. Okay.
You might want to just say something about that you must pay your bill in order to seek an abatement. Because
yes, if you're filing a real estate or personal property abatement application, you have to pay at least the first half bill in full, just the first half with no interest. Okay, number 2, fiscal year 24 form of list are going to be prepared and sent out. We have one more meeting, but we're going to be getting those ready to send out because those will be due March 1st. Form 3 ABCs, which are the tax exemption forms for entities that are tax exempt, will have to also be mailed by the end of the month. Now, we had talked about the last time we were going over these that we were going to include an additional letter to go in with to have each organization, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we talked about this, describe what each building was being used for. Did we not talk about that at one point? Or maybe not. It's up to you guys whether you want me to ask for that. I mean, there is a place on the application or the form itself where you are supposed to list the map and lot number, the location, and the use of the building, but I'm not sure if you did you want it more elaborate than that?
I don't know is that what we discussed?
I'm trying to think. I think we just wanted clarification, as to what the current status of the
we were going to do it like all at once.
Yeah.
I can put that in the letter, just to still list it the way they're listing it, but if they could on an additional piece of paper, just describe, or a spreadsheet, as of January 1st, what is that being used for? I know we had talked about that. I didn't have time to look up the previous minutes.
But the real question is, would the other question be, is anything rented?
That's what it was.
Yeah,
okay.
It makes more sense. I mean, because just to say if nonprofit something for a shed, that doesn't really make sense.
Right.
But if anything's being used in business other than the nonprofit.
What it's supposed to be used for. Okay. That's
right.
That's what it was. Okay. So I am going to include that with the cover sheet for the forms themselves when they get mailed. Okay, so here is the new notices for the form of lists and 2HF 3ABC that we post. Those have to get signed. And this is just the follow through in November. I believe it was November. There was a duplicate bill. It's an uncollectible. You signed off on it already, but this is Tammy's input into the system, so that can be taken care of. Number 6, we finally have a update to version 8. There's, how we would do in the past, I would use version 6 to update Access GIS with our assessment data. Well, we never had it set up for version 8. We actually had to contract through our mapping company, pay an additional fee, which that was part of the overlay that was taken out last year, so we could pay for that. They went through, both companies worked together, CAI and Vision, so that can happen. So as of today, when you go into Access GIS, all of the assessments are the new assessments. And what they did is they set it up so every single night when we do a backup, if I made any changes and I reran what they call the dump file, it will automatically change it the next day. So every single night it's getting updated without me having to do anything, which I didn't even ask for that. That was like a bonus, but I love the fact that they did that. So that's all taken care of, and we did get the bill for it. So we can check that off the list as one of the items that we had money taken out of the overlay to cover. The next one is actually the last thing that we took money out of the overlay for to cover. That was to have our sketches of all the properties converted from Vision to Access GIS so we can have those on there. I'll be in touch with, that was the last thing I was going to wait for, the reval being done, the values being updated on the mapping site. We have until July 1 to get this done. So I'll be talking to Tim Fountain at CAI, our mapping company, to get the ball rolling on this. The money is there and we should be able to get that. It shouldn't be that difficult. I don't know the exact procedure. I think everything has to be converted to a PDF on their end and then uploaded. But I will be working on that this week to get that going. That's kind of the only holdover from fiscal year 23 for all of the special items that we used overlay money to pay for fiscal year 23. I didn't include anything for the new budget because we still haven't received anything from the selectman's office. Good morning. So the last update on the Berkshire Scenic Railway Museum, I talked to town council, I spoke to Donna, and our last concern with that, because we did get the questions back from them that you guys requested. And basically I had asked Donna if that can be discussed during open session. And she said, no, that should be discussed in executive session. I did not put that on today's. Would you like me to put it on the very next meeting? We just had a lot to go over today.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, and I will contact them to know. I already told them that we did receive the questions and that we will be reviewing them going forward. And then that should, we can get into that one and take care of that. Tom, is there an update on the tax exemption pilot program?
Yes, thank you, Mike, and my apologies for not making it down this morning.
That's okay.
Yes, Peter Strauss and I have been working on we're now the co-chairs of the pilot committee, and we've been working on the questionnaire that we're sending out. Good morning, Peter. I see you're with us.
Good morning.
And we finally have it in this weekend with the help of Patrick White. We've got it on a form where people can really fill out the forms online. And we think this will facilitate the questionnaire. Thanks to Peter Strauss's help, I think we've really refined the questionnaire to it be up to date and really have the right sort of approach, which is one of collaboration rather than confrontation. So that will be, we'll just give it a final review to the, not everybody on the pilot committee has signed off on it. I'm gonna try to get the remaining 2 people to sign off on it, and we should be sending it out to the not-for-profits this week to get some feedback, and that questionnaire will then inform interviews that will be taking place with the not-for-profits. That will be followed by a public hearing, and then we're going to try to write up the report for the Board of Selectmen. Peter, is there anything you'd like to add?
Only to ask if the other members of the board want to see the questionnaire. I suppose there's no problem with sharing it with them as well.
Sure.
You mean the Board of Assessors?
Yes, you guys.
You guys want to see the questionnaire?
I mean, this is really, I mean, you guys really are a board underneath the select board.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's we're a little, I'm not interested because you're not.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were supposed to be interested, but
We're not overseeing you, so
Right.
I think it would be incorrect for us to
Yeah, I agree.
comment on your form.
fine.
Okay, well, thank you, Gary, and thank you, Doug, for that input. Peter, do you think we should indeed run it by the full Board of Select Board before we send it out?
No,
Patrick is the chair, has already approved it. So
No.
I'm inclined that at this point, we just send it out.
I think that's right.
Doug, does that make sense to you?
Makes sense to me.
Gary, you too?
Pat wants to make a comment.
Hey, guys, with the turnover at Tanglewood, Peter, you might know this better than me. Is there any advantage to wait while they do the search for the new, the new CEO of BSO, or do you feel like we should send it out? Because I think it'll be in sort of stasis over there until they've lost 2 executive management, members.
So,
Well, I think that in terms of dealing with Tanglewood, that's probably right, but whether that's a reason to
No,
not get started with all the others, I don't know.
I apologize, I didn't quite catch your question, Peter. Maybe Mike, you could repeat what Patrick just said.
No, what Patrick said is there's a lot of upset at Tanglewood these days. They're going through a management change. Shouldn't we wait to talk to them until that's somewhat settled? And that's certainly a fair question, but I don't think that's the reason to halt the general effort.
Okay, point well taken. Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Patrick. Okay.
Is
Any other
there
question?
on the actual application that you're sending out, are they sending something back?
Yes, we're sending it out in 2 forms. One is a sort of refined PDF version where people can type out the answers. We're also going to send it in a Word versions. If people just prefer to fill it out on Word, that's fine. We think the other is probably a little more convenient, but we'll give people both ways. And thirdly, if somebody actually just prefers to print out the Word version, they can do it manually that way and then write in the printed hard copy.
And where is it getting sent back to? Is it our office or the select?
Thank you for asking. Good question, Mike. Actually, Patrick is setting up a particular email, so it'll be pilot at Town of Stockbridge, where people will send it back to.
Okay.
The
Just wanted to
consequence
make
of that,
sure.
which the recipients will be well aware of, is that it will certainly be a public document and readily available to the world as a whole. I don't know that we could avoid that under Massachusetts law anyway, but that might be worth a moment's thought.
Well, the 3 ABC forms that we send out to the tax exempt organizations, those are not open to the public.
Ah, okay.
So that may be something that you want to ask legal about, because I know ours are not, they are under lock and key.
Okay, thank you.
So
Okay.
question to Patrick while you're there, Patrick, would you want to run that by Donna or should I do that?
You really feel like there's anything sensitive in the survey? It's pretty much, you see value in town services and, you know, I mean, it seems like it's, look at, if we get an open meeting law or a public documents request, I don't believe there's any way around it. My guess is that in Massachusetts general law, the ABC forms are exempted or whatever you're talking about.
Right, well, they actually have financial information on them.
Oh, yeah.
Ours are different.
Right.
It's different than a
I mean,
questionnaire.
we're not asking for revenues or anything that's sensitive. And I think if we get a public records request, we're going to honor it. It's my guess of what I should say, but I can ask her if you want.
Or if you want, you can put a statement in the question,
Okay, that's a good
in the
idea.
questionnaire that says that this is a public document.
The sensitivity would be, and the reason for thinking about it, the sensitivity would be that knowing that Kripalu has expressed this way of cooperating or not cooperating, that Kripalu chose not to answer or answered in a way that was really quite negative about the program, could, from their perspective, have public relations consequences that they would just as soon avoid.
We had an agreement with Kripalu.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it lapsed.
They terminated.
No. At the
It just-
time, it
The
ran-
selectmen didn't renew it.
Yeah, so we're in the midst of talking to them, although they have been a little bit hesitant with getting back. This, when
Screwed that one up, huh?
Well, no, I mean, so no, but the thing is,
No.
it's not, the assessors don't do the pilots.
Yeah, no.
And it's coming from the select board is with the pilots.
Okay.
yeah, there needs to be more discussion on that.
Might be ready.
So just thank you for your input on this. So I'm having a little trouble here with the audio, but as I gather, maybe it would be a good idea to state in the questionnaire that this is a public document, and if there's any sensitive material, we can discuss it individually. Would that cover our bases?
Tom, let's talk about it.
Okay, Peter and I
Okay.
can talk about it, and we'll bring you up to date on that discussion, Patrick.
Great.
That was good.
So maybe on the agenda for next meeting, we can talk about the status of, we did have some concerns about pilots, some
Yes.
expiring and some, and maybe we should discuss it and send something to the select board.
Yes, there is a memo that's going. I mean, I'm still editing it because I wanted to wait until the next 3ABC form came back because we're going to be asking a little bit more information on what buildings are being used for and whether they're being rented. That way, and it's going to be across the board. It's not just going to target, certain tax exempt organizations and, whether or not they comply, and they have to comply with filing the form before March 1st anyway. And at this point, yeah, there needs to be, there's only two pilots that we have. We have the Tavidian Foundation and, well, actually, no, we only have one now because the Kripalu one expired as of July 1st last
We're
year.
paying in lieu of taxes though from Riverbrook, and the Berkshire Taconic always sends us 1,000 from somebody. I'm not sure who it is.
Right, but these are actual ones
Unofficial.
that were signed
Oh, I
by
see.
both boards.
These are actual contracts, if you will.
Right. Yeah, okay, I'll put that on the next agenda.
And I know I would assume we should talk about that in the executive session, right?
The what?
The pilots, if you get into specifics or no.
Sure. As long as we, I just think we should communicate with the select board as a whole. So that
Yes.
they
Yeah.
know what we know.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And keep them updated.
Yeah, because those pilots are a joint effort, but it really needs to, start with how you guys feel about it and where we should go with it.
Okay.
All right, then is there anybody else on? Nope.
There's 4. Okay, yeah.
There's 4.
So number 10, maybe.
Are there any questions or comments from anyone else that has zoomed in? Nope.
How about,
Patrick?
nothing specific? Okay.
Okay, so we do have to go into executive session.
Did you-
About two
You want to
abatements.
talk to Tom about signing these?
Yeah, Tom, will you be able to stop in during the week?
Yes, I can definitely stop in during the week and sign
Okay.
things.
All right, good.
Okay.
Now, in terms of executive session, should I just call that we're about to enter? Should I just perhaps call Doug's cell phone, or how do you want to handle that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call you on your cell phone, Doug, and put it on the speaker.
All right, so at this point, I would entertain a motion to close the public meeting.
So moved.
Second, I'll second it.
And we're not returning to
and we're not returning to,
open
this will
meeting.
be the end of the public meeting. We're going to go into executive session in a moment, and we will not return.
Aye.
So with that, we didn't all, aye.
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 All right,
Thank you.
so at this point, we're going to enter into executive session per Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to discuss and review motor vehicle abatements, fiscal year 23 exemptions, and fiscal year 23 real and personal abatement applications. And the chair is to declare whether or not the board, and I already did that. So thank you all very much, and
Thank you.
we appreciate your participation.
Thank you.
Pat.
Thank you.